Hello, welcome back to the Villa View. It's time for the post-match pint in association with Purity Ale. If you do want to get 10% off all their goods, you can use that code #VillaView and that will do just that for you, 10% off. I'm your host, Dan Bardell, joined by Chris Dolan. Apologies for the little bit of a late start. We did start initially, but there were some audio issues, which fits in with Villa's woes at the moment. As I say, Dolan is here with me to dissect yet another defeat for Aston Villa Football Club. That's 5 in a row now for Dean Smith's Villains, and things are not looking particularly clever. Abysmal first half, again Dolan, bit of a rally in the second half. Didn't score when we were on top though, which is pivotal, so the game kind of petered out towards the end. All got a little bit desperate, throwing on all the strikers, and we end up losing 1-0. And yeah, it's not a happy club at the moment, is it, Aston Villa?
No, I still didn't think we'd be seeing Kane Davis come off the bench to try and rescue a goal at this stage in our project. But yeah, it was abysmal. It was dreadful. I'm actually not particularly angry because this has been a culmination of 5 weeks now, and I don't know what's happened. I don't know where it's come from, but it's totally bizarre to be in November and to not know your best 11, not know your best formation. Players don't look fit. Players pulling up with cramp. Bailey, I know for a fact, is only 50% fit. When Dave goes down with cramp and has to be taken off, and he was having the best game he's had yet in a Villa shirt, in my opinion, in that second half. Dropping Mings last week almost felt like it was to prove a point, which, well, I think as much stick as Mings gets, we've got a better win percentage with Mings on the pitch than we do with Mings not on the pitch. So again, that was the wrong call, and we're just spiraling completely out of control. And there's only one way it's going to go, and it's not looking good. It's very interesting. You look at the Wolves game, and it just brings back memories of the 3-2 against Leicester when we under Sherwood this season we went down. We obviously saw Benteke that season. It was that season in Belfort that season. So we'd raised Vlar, yeah, we'd raised a lot of funds like we have this season, and it just isn't working at all. And it's just very bizarre how you can go from some of the football we saw, even the start of the season, we were okay in patches. United, we were very good. Everton, we were excellent. I suppose that's it, really. Yeah, but I mean, there's been too many games where we've just been not off it, but way off it, and I mean way off it. And I think that's 19 defeats overall in 2021. And it's not happy reading. The stats aren't good. The stats at the back, the stats up top. Everything distance covered, everything's just not. It's just way off the mark, and it's sad to see. And I don't know how it's going to. I don't know how it's going to turn. I don't know where. I thought tonight. You said today could we grind out a 1-0. You were quite confident. I wasn't. And we've got Brighton next, albeit Palace as well, regardless. And as you also said before the show, Brighton are going to pass us off the park. Simple as that. Yeah. You can see what's going to happen. And we huffed and puffed in that second half, but did we ever really look like scoring?
We did. I mean, we did for the first 10-15 minutes. Really, to be fair,
keeper didn't really make that many. I think he made one sort of semi-decent.
Yeah,
save.
He's not really had to make a save as he throughout the 90.
I thought. Martinez made a couple of good saves, but it's just in the middle of the park. And we're being, we haven't, as you rightly said, we haven't changed that midfield three since we went up. It's the same midfield three.
Well, you could have picked McGinn and Nakamba in the first season in Villa central midfield, and the area's got lighter. Yeah. If anything, since that first season, we've lost players in that position. And I said to you before the game, that's the third different starting formation in 3 games. That's never good because you're never going to get any cohesion when that kind of thing's happening. I said to you that point that you just said about the midfield. But the biggest problem at the moment is you've got to start games better. You've got to be willing to engage with the opposition. Third game in a row, we've gone behind early or early-ish. I mean, today was very early, wasn't it? 2-3 minutes in from someone who hasn't scored since the first game of the season. I mean, why I didn't put any money on that, I've absolutely no idea. But even that goal, it's a great hit from Armstrong, don't get me wrong. But the lack of willingness to engage from Twanzebe, for me, people might disagree with this, just kind of turns his back on it, doesn't really make an attempt to block it, doesn't put him under any pressure. It's weak.
Well, I thought we lost that, and I thought we lost that started in the middle of the pitch with Buendia when he
strayed. I mean, that was a bit of luck the way it came back.
He sort of shied away from a 50-50. You know, he took his leg away, and then obviously the ball sort of ricochets off his lazy standing leg, and you know hits Cash on the back, and it's a super finish. It's a great finish, but
you see what I'm saying about Axel? He didn't do anything. It's the same with the first two West Ham goals. Everyone's kind of stood there. No one's actually willing to make a movement or make an engagement or put the body on the line to get in front of the ball, or at least like put the player off a little bit. They're free shots. It's a great hit, unbelievable hit on his weaker foot. But do something. Yeah, that's the bit that's annoying. Start the game better. I mean, we started the second half like a house on fire. We shouldn't need a half-time team talk. What have they been doing before the game? Why can't we start the first half like that? Just poor.
People say, you know, you've said that we started the second half better. I mean, what we did in the second half was just the basics. We did the basics right. We had a bit of a pattern of play. We passed the ball and we made some runs. I mean, it's not rocket science. We did none of that in the first half. And honestly, it could have been 4 or 5 in that first half. Well, Ghazi should have gone. I thought he was...
Yeah, he should have been sent off.
But he was absolutely embarrassing in the first half. You know, it's almost like he tried to get sent off with that dive in the box. It was just appalling. Again, it's the El Ghazi we saw at the back end of the championship in our last season there, and then even the first year back in the Premier League. You know, confidence is way off. He looks unhappy. I think the whole team look unhappy. I think there's a massive weight for some strange reason. Massive weight on the players' shoulders, you know.
It's that Wolves game. Obviously he's going to make you a little bit fragile, you know, conceding 3 in the last 10 minutes. I mean, we have not recovered from that. So I can forgive the Spurs game. It's just an off game. We'd come off the back of 2 wins. It was a poor game. Yeah. I can forgive that. 3 games since, well, not even 3 games, because, you know, for 80 minutes against Wolves, we were good, but that has sent us to pieces, and it now just feels like there's problems everywhere.
Yeah, and I think, you know, listen, it's hard to keep a smile on your face. I'm sure it's you know, don't get me wrong, it's going to be hurting Dean Smith. It's going to be hurting that entire coaching setup, and it's going to be hard. You know, it's hard to go into work when you're getting beaten every week and put a brave face on. You know, it's difficult. It's very, very difficult, especially when you're managing a group of 26, all different egos, different individuals, different personalities. You know, it's going to be hard. And the thing is now, players are going to see social media. They know what the fans are thinking. They know what the fans are saying. So it must be very, very difficult to try and read one thing and then listen to another thing from somebody who they might think is going to be out of a job in a few weeks. So it's just a shambles, mate. And I'm kind of numb to it. I'm pretty calm about it all because what's the point in getting you know, letting it ruin the weekend when you got players on 100 grand a week? You know, why would I ever let them ruin my weekend or you know, ruin my time with my friends and family? It's just not going to happen. But it's sad to see, mate. And the second half, the last 5 minutes, just reeked of Steve Bruce. Just reeked, you know, bringing on Keenan Davis, 3 up top. This whole long throw thing. I mean, what? It was just embarrassing. It was awful to see, and it's pure desperation, because that's not the Dean Smith that we know and love. That's not the way he plays football. That's not the way he manages a game. So it was even for him. You could see that was last ditch. That was
we've been doing the long throws all season. We've been doing them all season. That was one of the things with the set piece coach, isn't it? But I mean, I'm quite alarmed by the fact we're having to pass notes around.
Yeah,
in the first half, that's quite alarming.
I'd love to know what's said, but why should players have to be reminded of tactics? And if they're being reminded, or if it's a change of tactics,
I suppose it was a change of something.
But I mean, you know, how can you change? How can you get the setup so wrong? You know, how can you get the setup so wrong at the start of the game? There's a comment there from Spaceship. Why is there no Chukwuemeka? I mean, to be honest, I just think it's a collective thing. I don't think bringing in someone like Carney to make in the midfield is going to change the game, and I think it's a collective thing. I think the whole squad from top to bottom is just fragile. Playing within themselves, massive levels of anxiety, and it's just been a shambles. And you look back at the summertime, and why did we continually go after James Ward-Prowse and Emile Smith-Rowe when we knew we weren't going to get them? Why did we waste?
Well, I think we thought we could get Ward-Prowse. I think we did. I think that was an achievable one.
There had to have been a plan B. Why did we, because essentially we didn't really replace Smith-Rowe and Ward-Prowse with a backup option.
I don't think we'd have got Bailey if we'd have bought Smith-Rowe in, to be honest.
Well, I don't know, mate. Why? For me, we should have gone and we should have looked at the squad, and we desperately needed a reinforcer. We desperately needed that Ndidi type player, and we haven't got it. And that midfield, again, you just see the ball. There were moments in that game tonight where they just glided past our midfield. There was just no protection in front of the back four. There was no resilience. There was no one sticking a foot in. It was just as easy as you like. And that first half could have been 3 or 4 easily at half time, and we couldn't have complained. So
midfield's a massive problem, isn't it? Because Louise, I did tweet this just before half time. Louise is very up and down.
Yeah,
but at least he can look after the ball. Yeah. The lack of the ball retention. I think we were on 25% possession at one point, and this was quite a way into the first half. You've got to be looking after the ball better. We don't look after the ball, and all the other stuff you just said about the midfield. Well, the midfield's a huge problem now. Yeah, huge problem. Because I bet even our best midfielder, McGinn, he doesn't look after the ball. It's not his strongest suit, is it? You need someone who does look after the ball next to him, and then I would say it's not Nakamba's strongest suit either. So in those kind of games, Romeo and Ward-Prowse, they didn't do anything special. They broke player. They looked after the ball. They did the simple things. We can't do the simple things.
But even a Romeo type player, we haven't got that. We need just a bit of a bully in there, just someone who's, again, Nakamba, he's a bit too lightweight. I can't really think what kind of strength he has. I can't think of his strengths. Whereas Romeo isn't a great footballer, but he's just a bit of a bully. He's a bit of a shithouse, and he'll just go toe to toe with you, and he'll do the really ugly things that we miss, that we lack. It's just a team of. I don't know. I think
we're too lightweight.
We're too lightweight in the middle. We're too lightweight in personality. We have no leaders in the pitch. Players are looking around at each other, not knowing what to do. There's no direction. There's no cohesion. It's like the blind leading the blind at the minute, and I can't see how it's going to get any better. And it's kind of come out of, well, not coming out of nowhere, because this year's been alarming, but it's come out of nowhere. The severe dip in form. We have always played well, and you can accept playing well and losing a game, but we're just being torn to shreds. And there's no fight, no desire. We're making teams like Arsenal look like Arsenal of old.
Invincibles.
We're making Southampton look like the Southampton under Pochettino. We're making West Ham look like the West Ham of old. Under Redknapp, and it's just painful to watch. But unfortunately, it's inevitable, and it's not a surprise.
I mean, all the stuff we're saying, I don't blame just the manager. I do think it's a collective thing. I think Dean Smith's making mistakes. Don't get me wrong. I think the players are making mistakes. I think it's all just gone completely awry at the moment. But he will ultimately carry the can, Dean Smith. I think the second half might have saved him a little bit. That it wasn't a complete collapse. The players did seem to rally a little bit in the second half. I don't think he'll go.
We lost the game, Dan.
No. I'm not making. I'm just saying. I think the second half will give him another game. I think 5 in a row is a terrible look for any manager in any league. If you're losing 5 in a row, that's a big problem.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I'd like to hear a bit more. I'd like to hear a bit more from Purslow. I'd like to hear a bit more from the club. I think the club have gone into their shell. I was speaking to a few people at the club, just have kind of shut up shop. Journalists can't get at them. Nobody knows what's going on. There's no response. There's no rapport. There's no communication between club and the journalists. Even there's a journalist.
I'd say that's natural when things are going bad.
But there's even a journalist I was speaking to who said, that they like to even try and defend him, and they can't even try and put a defense out there because there's no one from the club giving them anything. So it's kind of hard, you're getting all this negative press being spouted around the press and online, but there's nobody coming out really and giving the club side of the story, and because there's something wrong, there's something not right. The pre-season was, by all accounts, a shambles. I think the recruitment, looking at it now, has been unbalanced and again just off the mark. We didn't address left back. We didn't address centre midfield. We didn't address the wings as much. I still think we need another winger in there. I think El Ghazi again. Just when he, just tonight was just classic El Ghazi, and I just think we're just light. I don't know what's happened to Sanson. He was fit during the week, and then he's not even in the squad. So I don't know what's going on there, mate.
I'm unsure. I mean, I think Dean Smith name checked him as being back, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
in his press conference.
Press conference.
If he's fit, he's on the bench. In that bench was an academy bench. If he's available, he's going to be on the bench. But even to expect him to come in to say he was fit and he came and he played tonight, he's never going to be, coming out there and giving his absolute 100% because he's not been fit for the whole year. This is the problem. This is one of the problems we've got at the moment. No, like you said, Bailey's not fit.
No,
Wendia's struggling to do 90 minutes.
Why is this?
I don't know.
Why is this? Why
I don't know.
Again, by the stats.
I mean, Bailey's been injured all season, hasn't he? So he's going to need a run of games to get himself going again. I actually thought he got fitter as the game went on, which was a bit strange.
Yeah. There was one occasion when he tracked back, but that was it. Like, if I was Matty Cash tonight, I'd be livid. I'd be absolutely livid. No support. He was marking 2 men at once for most of that game, and I think Hinchcliffe Hinchcliffe said if Kyle Walker-Peters had a left foot, then we would have been in serious trouble. But it's just hard to watch, man. It's really hard to watch, and Villa Park. We've spoken to many ex-players, and when that whole end can turns against you, there's not many places that you want to be playing in front of. Like it's not a nice place to be playing your football, and we've seen it, unfortunately, over the last sort of 10 years. We've seen it all too often, and you can't blame the fans because essentially they you don't only support the team so much, you only get behind them so much, and I think we've I think tonight again, fans 3,500 down there paying an absolute small fortune to travel down to
most having to stay over.
Most having to stay overnight. 500, 600, 700, £800, £1,000 weekend, and you watch that, and it's so you can only support the team so much, and I'd love to know. I'd love to hear from the club. I'd love to hear from Purzo. I'd love to hear from somebody higher up in the club and just find out what's going on, because at the minute there has to be a reason why it's gone so horribly wrong. And the basics haven't been addressed. And it's the start of November. We're 11 games in, and we're still unfit.
But we've also gone from being one of the best teams defensively in the country last season to being a shambles again at the back. This is more like the defence of the first season back in the Premier League now, where you just feel we're gonna concede multiple goals per game.
How many goals is that now? So three against Wolves.
I don't know that lead.
Look at that. 3 against Wolves, 2 against Spurs, 3 against Arsenal, 4 against West Ham, 1 tonight.
Yeah, it's a shambles at the. It's not you can't blame just the defence though. It's the whole team. We are not doing anything well now, and it starts from the front. When the other team's got the ball, it does start from the front. The only player, I said this on the last show, the only player that's anywhere near their best at the moment is Matty Cash.
I agree.
He's the only one.
Yeah. Only player with any kind of credibility at the minute, and he's been consistent.
I thought Mings had a decent game tonight. I thought he dealt with most things that came his way. Axel's one of the ones who I think looks completely frightened. He's not been right for a while now.
No,
He
no.
did. He's not the confident defender I remember him, but I know it was the Championship.
Yeah, it was championship, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. He still had a bit of a swagger about him, a bit of confidence. He looked scared. Like I said, that lack of willingness to engage for that first goal, so poor. But I think when Concer's played the last few years, I think it's been a little bit the same with him. He's nowhere near the standards of last season. I mean, is that the rating? Is that the rating? Is that the ratings for just tonight? I mean, your left back's made one tackle. It's not good, is it? Transabi 6.41. I mean, we aren't doing literally as a team though. We aren't doing anything well at the moment.
No, and you know, as you said, the back four, back five, including the keeper. You know, you can chop and change centre half occasionally, but
we are doing that, aren't we? Every game.
They play together enough now. You know, it's still a settled back five essentially.
They've all got relationships. The personnel that play in defence,
exactly.
They've all got relationships.
It's not like we've brought in an entirely new back four, back five. You know, same keeper. Twinsies played with House and Mings in the Championship. Cash has played. You know, Target's played enough games now. So I don't know, Dan. I don't know. It's even on paper when I look at that team, it doesn't fill me with any confidence.
But we weren't saying that after the transfer window, were we? We can say it now because we've lost 5 in a row. But you know, we weren't saying that at the start of the season. When we beat Man U, we were all looking at our team thinking that's a decent side. Maybe we're better without Grealish because you know we're not so reliant on him. Maybe more players are getting involved. I remember us saying that after the Manchester United game. Can't remember whether it was you on with me or not, but I remember us all. Yeah. I remember us all saying that we looked a more complete team, and then just that collapse at Wolves. It has shell shocked the football club. I don't think it's just the players. I think it's shell shocked everyone. Because, like I've said about 50 times now, we cannot do anything well since that 10 minutes.
No, I agree. And you know, like I say, we were cruising up to 80 minutes, and then to just capitulate like that. But I think it's just the sign of our team. It's the sign of the character we have, and there's not many characters in that team, and it's you know, I know it's like, you know, I'm sort of, you know, almost way off the mark here, but like you look at that goal that Paul Merson scored. The club put it up today, and you look at whenever Merson scored, all the players that jumped on top of him, like just the names we had, like Taylor, Southgate, Barry, Merson, Alpay, Vassell, you know,
the builder,
just characters, just proper characters, you know, like proper, like, you know, footballers, and we just don't have that. We don't have any characters in the team, and I'd be pretty sure that's the youngest squad in the league. I'd be pretty sure
he'll be down there as the youngest. I'm sure
that'll be, you know, because I know it was pretty low average age last season, but I think this season, I think we've added more use to the team overall. But
it's a good job Ashley Young was on the bench, because I think that would have been the youngest bench in Premier League history. That bench was the academy. It really was. Like I say, we've got a few injuries. I don't feel like we've got tons missing to have that lack of depth on the bench.
Well, you bring Ings back, you bring Chori back, you bring Konza back, you bring Luis back.
There's 4 players.
There's 4 players. You sort of mold them in to the match day squad, and it's not as bad as you think. But even the whole Ings thing, like to bring Danny Ings in, like I was crying out for another striker, but I wasn't crying out for a striker to come in that can't play with Ollie Watkins, you know. It's almost like, you know, we've been trying to shoehorn him into the team all season, hence the formation, hence why the formation's gone the way it has gone, because you have to play Danny Ings. You have to, but then you can't drop Ollie Watkins. And
if Ings had been fit, Watkins would have been playing out wide on the left the last couple of games, without a doubt. I don't think Bailey would have been playing.
Yeah, well, there you go then, mate. There you go. It's just it's a shit show. And yeah, I'm glad now the international breaks come up. I'm glad that there's no more football now for a few weeks, because just bored of it. I'm bored of just watching that same old dross week in, week out. And
do you think they'll dispose of Dane?
I don't know.
Do you think really? What do you think?
I don't know. I honestly don't know, because if I only want to bring in a manager who's going to be better than Dean Smith.
I mean, his detractors will say there's quite a few of them around at the moment, but I look at the list of, you know, Newcastle is trying to Newcastle at the bottom of the league pretty much, but, you know, they've got a hell of a lot of money to be offering people. You know, money talks. They're struggling to get a manager in. Tottenham obviously got Conte, but they had a nightmare trying to get a manager in the summer, which is easier to get a manager in the summer. And they had an absolute nightmare trying to get someone. I don't think it's easy to get
of course
a
not
manager
easy.
of
It's not
pedigree.
easy to get managers or players in. It's hard to get it. It's hard to get both players and managers in your football club.
Dean's got us out of holes before as well. We're in a hole at the moment. There's absolutely no doubt.
There's something about this one, Dan. Like something about this one.
But do you not think we all thought that the season we nearly went down, the first season back in the Premier? We had runs like this where I thought, what is going on here? What are they going to do? He would have probably got the sack had it not been for COVID. And then he turned it around after COVID.
Yeah, but there's no COVID break. There's no,
No. Well, you don't know that yet, but yeah.
Well, yeah, you don't know that yet. But you're right. That Leicester game was as bad as it. I've not felt as low about Villa since that Leicester game. When we got absolutely pummeled. And yeah, as you say, I think it was Chelsea the weekend after that, and it got called off, and then there was nothing for a few months, and we came back. Even when we came back after COVID, we were useless for the first 4 or 5.
We just concentrate on being solid, didn't we? But I'd take at the moment going back to being solid for a bit. That's what I expected today. And within 2 minutes, that's out the window.
Well, what is being solid? I mean, how can you be solid?
Just doing the base, defending properly, doing the basics, engaging with the opposition. I'm finding that the early goals in the last 3 games, just the lack of willingness to make contact with the opposition. That's scary stuff for me. That Partey's goal against Arsenal for Arsenal, sorry, it's not even a clean connection or anything. It's just hit him on the back, hit him on the shoulder, and trickled in. Ben Johnson for West Ham in the game after. Right back cutting on his left foot. He'll never score a goal like that ever again, Ben Johnson. That'll be the only time he ever scores a goal cutting on his left foot from right back. And then tonight, it's a great hit, but there's no engagement. He's free to shoot. It's worrying. Do your job. Yeah. Start the game well. Do your job at the start of the game. We're not doing that. And like I say, we're not doing anything well. So Dean probably will carry the can, especially if he gets into the game and we lose again. I think that definitely would see him go. But people talk about bringing managers in. It's not easy.
No, it's not easy.
You're taking a gamble. I think the managers I say on the list, you're taking a gamble. At least, if we are going to end up in a relegation battle, which I hope to God we're not, at least Dean's got the experience of staying up.
Yeah.
You don't want to be going the route of a firefighter. I definitely don't want to be going that route. And then the other managers that I see mentioned, what have they done really?
Well,
Lampard.
No, I wouldn't have Lampard in there.
I know, but he'll be the favourite immediately.
Lampard.
Tell me who else there is out there. People in the live chat, feel free to throw some names at me, and I'll gladly discuss them.
There's a comment up there saying who should you blame more, Dean Smith or the players? But for me, it's a collective.
50-50.
It's a collective, completely. It's a complete collective.
You win as one, you lose as one, in my opinion.
Of course. Everyone's got a job to do, and Dean Smith doesn't stand on the corner on the side of the pitch with an Xbox controller and move them around. He can only do so much, but there's a lack of confidence and a lack of belief and a lack.
Kovac.
Who's Kovac?
He's Bayern manager for a bit. I can't really manage someone before as well. I can't remember her. John Terry won't come back as manager, I don't think.
Potter,
we wouldn't get Potter.
No,
we wouldn't get him.
No chance.
But he's just flavour of the month at the moment.
Yeah.
Dean was flavour of the month this time last year.
Yeah.
Bielsa's been flavour of the month. They're sitting They're sitting just above the bottom 3. Eddie Howe's going Newcastle. Great work by Adam at this point, making up for his trying to pull one earlier. Nuno. I know Nuno's got a decent relationship actually with one of our owners, but he's damaged goods now, in my opinion. Denmark manager. Just taking risks though all over the place. Yeah. If you're gonna upgrade, that's who I think they would go for.
Stevie G.
That's who I think they would go for. I'm not saying that's the right thing, but that's who I believe they would go for, Stephen G. I don't know whether he'd leave Rangers mid-season, but you'd have an idea before you went for him of whether he was
I just think he's gonna. I think he's gonna want to win that title again, back to back, just to prove it wasn't a fluke. I think I would be. But then again, Rodgers did it. Rodgers did it and left Celtic and went to Leicester, and he was on the verge of a quadruple or something. So
yeah, I don't even like talking about it because I've got an awful amount of respect for Dean Smith. But I think when you've lost 5 in a row, it does. You do have to ask the question, I'm afraid.
But it's just interesting. It's interesting. You lose John Terry and Richard O'Kelly and bringing in the set piece coach and attacking coach, and it's like also you got Craig Shakespeare there, who's very, very well respected and a very good coach by all accounts. But even the coaching staff just doesn't seem to have there's just a lack of balance there as well. The whole club just seems to be lacking in balance and structure and cohesion and
There's the man we all want. Dan for manager. That's what we all want to say.
Nah, I don't think so, mate. But yeah, I don't know, mate. I don't know. It's just, yeah, I'm glad that, you know, I'm glad to be shot of it for a week or two, and then Brighton next week. And like I say, they're just flying. Their confidence, they're just sky high, you know.
It's not a great game that to have a Villa Park next, because it's the kind of team that Villa fans, or certain element of Villa fans, will expect. You know, Villa Brighton. Villa should win. They're at home.
We were in good form. We were in good form last season whenever we played them at home,
Yeah,
and they turned us over, you know. And
no honestly, crowd there though. When things are bad, if you've got a crowd there, you know. But I can picture it now. I can actually picture it now. You know, they'll keep the ball well the first 10, 15 minutes, Brighton, and then it will get antsy at Villa Park. You know, if you've lost 5 in a row, fans have got every right to be antsy. But can you just picture it though now? That uncomfortableness of it just being, it's starting to get a little bit toxic every time Brighton pass the ball and there's no engagement. It will get there'll be boos will start to come out. You know, right? Everyone will be saying, "Why can't we play football like that?" It's a reasonable question, to be fair.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I watch every team at the moment. I just think, why do their players get the weight of pass right every time, but ours don't?
Yeah,
every team. I thought that, and Southampton will pull up no trees this season. Absolutely no trees at all.
No, I agree, mate. And I watched teams across country. You look at the midfield, and you're like, why can't we get a Conor Gallagher? You know, why haven't we got a Conor Gallagher?
He's great. He's like, great.
You know, it's just like, you know, I don't know, mate. I don't know. And somebody tweeted saying best thing that ever happened to Arsenal was not getting Buendia. You know, he could be right. I don't know what's going on with that guy, man.
He was 1+ point in the second half, I would say.
Second half, but he ran a little bit for 40 minutes and then pulled up a cramp. So
he did get cramp. It's never helpful.
So he worked hard and then got cramp. So it's just it sort of sums us up at the minute, mate. But
there was a bit of penetration with the ball at that point. You know, a bit of a few 1-2s, a bit of movement. You know, stuff I would expect to see more than I saw.
Just lacking of confidence. They just look shell shocked. You know, the body language is all wrong. And they're just lacking in confidence, like, so badly. And
confidence is massive. We know from the footballers we talk to, you know, confidence is a huge thing.
Huge, you know. And I spoke to people as well in and around the club, and, you know, they've told me some things, and like
what?
Well, just about.
So you dug yourself a hole there. You said something, but you don't want to go into it.
Well, just about Bailey not being fit, and some players not being fit, and not having, and COVID's been an issue as well. I know for a fact COVID's been an issue, and can't get the players fit, can't get a start 11, like a solid start 11. Can't get a consistent 11. Doesn't, you know, can't get the correct formation. Just so much going on. I
mean, those things will not help. I don't think they forget. I don't think they're a pass for some of the stuff that we've seen over the last few games.
I agree. If you're a professional footballer playing at the highest level, and you know, you should be able to do the basics every single week, regardless of if you can ping a 60-yard ball. You still be able to do the basics. And the thing is, with us, we can't do the basics, man. And yeah, when you bring on, like I say, Cameron Archer and Keenan Davis to try and get you, you know, something from the game, you know, you're in big trouble. I think Cameron Archer is going to be a decent footballer. I think he'll probably score a few goals for us, but he's you know, he's not going to be he's not going to be a Villa legend, or he's not going to be you know, banging in 25 goals for us season in, season out. So. So, you know, I just think I think our squad still looks massively unbalanced, and we're just way off it, mate, at the minute. Way off it. It's a shame to see. It's a shame to see, mate. And who knows what will be the case, or what the case will be when we next catch up and do a podcast. I don't know if we'll do one next week, but I mean, who knows what will go on, but you know, I saw Perslow and Christian Lang sitting together, and Big Tommy sitting behind them, and penny for their thoughts. You know, be interesting to see. No, not at all. And you know, we're obviously owned by owners that aren't particularly present. So, we know that Perslow runs the club. It's a, he runs the football club from top to bottom on a daily basis, and he's obviously going to want to make a good impression on his employers. And at the minute, from the top, he's not doing a good job, and it's going down. It's going all the way right down through the club. And the only shining light we have at the minute is our academy. It's the only shining light we have, the academy, and the women's team as well. It looks like it's in a good place, and but the academy for me is the one thing that we've got right, and the one real kind of beacon that we can look at and go, okay, there's something here. But
I don't think we expected this, but we did say, again, I don't know whether it's specifically you, but you were definitely on the shows. Might be a difficult start to the season, but we'll get better as the season went on. But I don't think we expected this kind of slump. I thought we might be a bit inconsistent, to be fair. I thought we might win one week and then lose next. I wasn't expecting 5 defeats in a row. I think even in some of our worst times in the Premier League, we have, except for the relegation season, we've not had many times where we've lost 5 in a row.
Yeah. It's the manner. Even the season we came up, even the season we went up, I thought we played quite well in the majority of the games. We got Arsenal away, we were unlucky, and there was a lot.
We couldn't defend. We couldn't defend,
but I thought we were half decent up until kind of COVID. I thought we were okay, but we just look miles off it, Dan. At the minute, miles off it. We don't even look like a good side. We don't even look like. I wouldn't mind, right, if we can't defend, but when we go forward, we look like we're going to score. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind every time we get the ball and we attack, we look threatening. That's fine, but we can't defend and we can't score. So at the minute, there's nothing going for us. You can't look at one thing and go, oh, well, it's a tweak here, it's a quick fix. It's not a quick fix because defenders can't defend, midfielders can't keep the ball, and our strikers can't score.
I think back to the start of last season, I think we knew what we were. Yes, we had Jack Grealish, but we defend well, keep it tight, defend narrow, keep people out of the box, made blocks, excellent goalkeeper. Got a star man.
Who again's been way off the boil this year.
He was a bit better today, I thought. But yeah, star man on the left. But we'd pretty much soak up the pressure and then break with a bit of pace with Grealish, Watkins, Traore on the right. I think we knew what we were. I think we've had all this high turnover of players. And I can't say that for 1 second this season I've really known what our identity is.
Well, that's it, man.
Are we a pressing side? Are we a side that sits deep and tries to break? Are we a side that looks after the ball? Absolutely not. But there's no style. I don't really know what we are. And it feels like nobody at the club really knows what we are now.
But that's inexcusable, to not know your best formation.
Well, Dean said at the start of the season, I don't know why I keep calling him Dean because he's not my mate. But, they said at the start of the season, we're going to play 4-4-2. I'm sure he said that. People correct me again in the live chat if I'm wrong. I'm sure he said in the press conference we're going to play 2 up front. We're going to play 4-4-2. We haven't really done that. We've had to go 3 at the back to play with 2 strikers, but then we've got so many wide players. That doesn't get them into the team. We've got all these players when everyone's fit, but I still don't think we'll know what the best team is when everyone's fit. We might be a bit better. Louise is the one for me. He's a huge miss. I don't even think he's a superb midfield player. He's just the best on the ball that we have.
Yeah, he is definitely the best. He's the best ball. He's the best. Well, I think, without Louise, I think Ramsey's pretty good in the ball as well. I think he can carry the ball.
They're all just okay, aren't they, Nakamba? Yeah. McGinn has games where I think he's excellent on the ball, and then he has games where I think, what is he doing? He's got his boots on the wrong feet. It's the consistency again. There's so many problems.
So many problems, And listen, it's you're up when you're winning, and when you win, you don't care. You don't care. If we had a 1 tonight and that bench was full of academy products, if we had a 1 tonight and that bench was full of academy products, like it was tonight, we'd be going, oh, this is amazing. This is the future's bright. This is what it's all about. Having a bench full of English academy talent. This is amazing. Wow, this is great. But whenever you're losing, it's like, well, why do we have a bench full of young kids coming to the academy? So you're kind of damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. And at the minute, we need leaders. We need players to sort of stand up and be counted, to use the old cliche terms, but it's so true. And the basics, just do the basics. As Roy Keane said, just run, track back, make a tackle.
The sound bites in the week are all about. This is the thing that I think people find slightly annoying. The sound bites in the week are all about. We need a response. There's going to be a response. In 3 minutes, you 1-0 down.
Yeah, and Martinez said today in his interview that they're going to play tonight like a cup final. If that's the way you start a cup final, then you're never going to win a trophy. Simple as that.
I'd have been upset if that was a cup final.
It's simple as that, mate. And it's just some of the quotes from Dean Smith. He's we're not far off. We're not far off.
What's he said tonight? I actually have no idea
what
he said
just
tonight.
in his press conference, he said we're not far off. Miles off it.
He said that tonight?
No, in the press conference. Press conference.
I'd like to know what he said. What he said tonight. If someone wants to surmise it in the live chat for us, and Adam will flash it up on screen, just because we've come straight on to do this, and I haven't seen anything that he said. But yeah, that's another slightly concerning thing. Dean Smith, I have no idea if I'll be given more time. Just want to see the question over his future.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Not sure what I make it. The other thing I've always thought for 3-4 years, everything he says after post-match, I agree with it normally. Last couple of games, I've not really agreed with what he said.
No.
Again, isn't a great sign.
Systems don't win games, players do. Well, I mean, if you play a 10 at the back, you're not going to win a game of football, are you? So I think systems do.
And also, we've changed system 3 games in a row.
Exactly, man. So
there must be some kind of.
Yeah, I would just love to know. I would love to know because we're only ever going to get a sugar-coated PR bullshit message from the club. I just love to know the truth. I'd love to know what's going on. I think if football clubs were a bit more honest and upfront with fans instead of giving us this PR nonsense. And as Gary Neville says, when you see some of these tweets coming out from the players, we'll do better, and we're so sorry. We'll make sure we put it right.
We've not really been even getting that the last couple of games.
No.
The only thing I'm seeing on social media player-wise is, before the match, Buendia has obviously got his social media team that
match day,
and a picture of him. That's the only thing I can recall seeing over the last few weeks. They're damned if they do. They're damned if they don't. Though, to be fair to them, because if they come out and apologise, they get panned. But then we'll sit here and discuss them not saying anything at all. So they can't really win.
Right. Literally, they can't win on the pitch and they can't win.
We can't win. We couldn't even get the show going either. We're not very good at our jobs either here. So
it's just, do you know what's actually probably obviously
I'm more than whizzing around here.
But my little nephew, I've been trying to get my nephew to support Villa for.
I mean, you have picked the wrong time for that, Chris.
And you sort of he's like what 13. And he was kind of like, he liked Palace and stuff because he took him to the game and he met Zaha and he liked United and then he liked City and then he sort of loved Grealish. And obviously Grealish became a bit of a poster boy and then obviously he leaves us. And
he's tried everyone by the sounds of things. Is there anyone he hasn't supported? And
then this summer they came to the house for a couple of weeks in the summer and I gave him a few of my old Aston Villa tops and he was wearing them and he said, yeah, I'm definitely going to be a Villa fan. He was buzzing for it. And then he bought the Villa kit with his birthday money and stuff. And he's sort of like just getting tanked week in, week out. It's like, I'm really sorry, I'm sorry for building it up, this is the reality of being a Villa fan. It's shit.
I mean, you should say to him, this is life, because I've not been having the best of time over the last month. And since I've not been having a good time, Villa have lost every single game. So they just pile on the misery.
Yeah.
Villa don't care what's going on in your life. They'll join in. That's life, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's so interesting, no matter how many players you have over the years and different personnel, different managers, it's the same old Villa, isn't it? It's always the same old mistakes. You can call it, you just know, again, I'm surprised that we didn't lose that 2-0 tonight because I WhatsApped you during the game and it was like, you can see them just hitting us in the break and scoring a second and just killing the game off, and it didn't happen, but you can just sort of, it's so predictable. It's so predictable with Villa, and because every fan says the same, everyone about Spurs and Fulham, it's very Fulhamish or very Spursy, but with Villa, it's just typical, and you can see it a mile. You can see it a mile off, and just have to ride the storm out. Just have to ride it out, mate, and see.
Kazoo got a lot to answer for at the moment. Everton can't buy a win either. The Kazoo curse.
We're looking at the table, mate. We could be in the bottom 3 by the end of the weekend. I don't know who Burnley are playing or Newcastle.
Burnley have got Chelsea away, luckily, but they'll probably rock up there and win 1-0 now.
Newcastle, Brighton.
Nah.
So
Newcastle are pish.
So Norwich. We play Norwich in a few weeks. They're guaranteed.
I hope to God they win a game before we play them. My God, because that is just absurd, isn't it?
They're guaranteed to get their first victory of the season. So Pookie will bang in a hat trick or something.
I feel at this point the show has just kind of merged into just the kind of thing we just talk about on the phone. I'm not sure if this is even helping anyone even is even listening to us anymore. It has just turned into the kind of conversation that we'd have on the phone.
Yeah, just have
It's a tale of two halves. Southampton controlled the midfield. Oh, I missed it. Just started reading it too late.
Right. Well, I think it's time to call it a day, mate. Yeah.
There we go. Southampton controlled the midfield in the first, and we improved in the second.
Okay.
Every team seems to control the bloody possession at the moment. That's the way it goes since that Wolves collapse. Yeah, let's go. Thanks to Purity as ever for sponsoring us. If you use the code hashtag VillaView, you'll get 10% off.
If it's a tale of two halves, we would have scored and it would have been 1-1. So it wasn't a tale of two halves. We got beat. We lost the game. End of story. So there you go. Sorry.
Yeah, you got to put the ball in the back of there. Yeah, you've ruined me doing the Purity code there. It's on the screen anyway. Everyone can see it. There's no point me reading it out again, is there? Yeah, don't know whether this has helped anyone. Funnily enough, I feel better for some reason, but I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what that's really based on. But yeah, I've enjoyed talking to you, Dolan.
Yeah,
it's always good to talk to you, mate.
Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, you'll be on the text now. We'll be on the text now, see what's going on, won't we? See if we can find out any information. Although I would suggest making a decision straight after a game wouldn't be the best way to do your business anyway. So yeah, maybe take a couple of days to think things through. Villa board, that's my expert advice anyway, because I've obviously worked high up in football hierarchies before, so I know exactly.
Yeah, well, you're the reason that Jack Grealish left, so
that's true.
Yeah. It's your fault. True. It's your fault. So have a word, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. Right then.
All right, mate.
Let's go. Yeah. Thanks ever so much for tuning in and getting involved. Yeah. As I said, I don't know if this has benefited anyone at all, but we've done it 5 in a row for Villa. So apologies for the technical issues. The first time we tried to come on, absolute vintage producer Bates and Inslee teaming up like Libor Kozak and Nicholas Hellenius. Jordan Bowery as well, throw him in there as well. So yeah, thanks ever so much for watching. It seems a bit stupid to say up the Villa at the moment when we're falling down, but I'll say it anyway. Up the Villa.